Each year, millions of tourists flock to Cyprus, confident that for a week or two at least, they are leaving behind the wet and cloudy weather of Northern Europe. But it is precisely that good weather that is now causing this Mediterranean island its worst droughts in living memory and threatens to seriously harm the holiday industry it created. After 4 consecutively dry winters, the Cyprus Dam, Cyprus's largest reservoir, contains just 2.5% of its capacity. The problem has reached such serious proportions that the government has been forced to ship 8 million cubic meters of water at an estimated cost of 40 million euros from Greece, and has also ordered the construction of numerous desalination plants in an effort to make sure the demands of the island's locals and tourists are met. But the question remains whether these measures will be enough to hold back the ravages climate change is having on the landscape of this once green Mediterranean island, and whether it will be able to continue catering for the millions who visit each year. With farmers dependent on around 75% of the island's water supplies, they are the first to be hit by the drought. Many complain of progressively falling yields as the rains repeatedly fail and groundwater reserves diminish. Farmer Nicoletis says that this year's yield is probably the worst he's ever experienced.
Σπήραμε κρυθάρι για τα ζώα. Επειδή δεν έβρεξε να μεγαλώσει, έμεινε τόσο μικρό, δεν έκαμε ούτε καρπό, δεν έχουμε εισόδημα ικανοποιητικό για την οικογένεια. Ζημιά.
Not only have the rains failed, meaning that Nicoletis' barley has died before reaching maturity, the well from which he could previously pump 50 cubic meters per day onto fields for growing fruit now only yields 5 cubic meters daily.
Αν είχαμε νερό να τα ποτίζουμε ικανοποιητικά, τούτον το τεπώνει είχε να είναι 3 φορές πιο μεγάλο, αν και πιο καλής ποιότητας, και να μπορεί να το δώσεις στην αγορά να το πουλήσεις.
But it's not only farmers who are suffering from the effects of the drought. The town of Famagusta on the eastern side of the island has long suffered from water shortages. But as its population grows and groundwater reserves dry up, it is fast reaching crisis point. Its mayor, Oktay Kayalp, says that with the town receiving only 5,000 cubic meters of water per day from groundwater supplies for a population of 40,000, he is worried about the short and long-term prospects for that part of the island.
Dünya Sağlık Örgütü'nün orta gelişmiş ülkelerle ilgili verdiği minimum rakam günlük 250 litredir. Dolayısıyla biz normalde insanlarımıza vermemiz gereken suyun yarısı kadarını verebiliyoruz.
Families too are bearing the brunt of the drought as the authorities cut water supplies to force consumers to reduce consumption. Water restrictions were not unheard of in the capital Nicosia, but this year they were introduced in March, much earlier than ever before.
The most difficult time is during the weekends, when there's 2 days without having any running water. It's certainly an inconvenience. I mean, I'm all for saving water and so forth, but the fact that we don't have it for so long, it's making life difficult.
Receiving water for only a few hours a week means that normal household chores have to be arranged around times when the main supply is actually on.
So I'll be doing this for about 5 hours today, and then iron them on a non-water day and start again on, when do we get water again? Thursday? On Thursday. On Thursday again.
Whether this is to become a permanent feature of daily life in Cyprus remains to be seen, but it is certain that without such stringent water-saving measures, life in the Cypriot capital this summer would be untenable.
Long term, I don't know if the problem will get worse or not. I'm hoping it will not. I'm hoping that there will be a solution, something will happen, and we will have running water for more than just, basically, if you think about it, 24 to 32 hours a week. So
We'll have to go stay in the hotels.
Well,
because their supply isn't cut off. So we'll go stay at a hotel for a few days and enjoy our water.
With almost 3 million tourists coming to the island each year, a figure 3 times the resident population of the island, tourism is undoubtedly the most important sector in the growing economy. The authorities are therefore keen that no harm comes to the industry as a result of the drought. But although the government gives priority to the needs of hoteliers, the rising cost of maintaining supplies means that many in the industry are taking their own measures to cut consumption.
To say water, we're taking a two-pronged approach. One is using what we have as efficiently as we can, Second one is making sure we have enough of it. To make sure we have enough of it, things like that may seem a waste is watering the garden, water in the swimming pool that evaporates every single day. We recycle the wastewater from the building itself, so it keeps it self-sustaining.
But despite the water-saving measures being implemented by some hoteliers and the hardships suffered by the majority of residents, the severity of the drought has yet to sink in for some, including, it seems, the authorities. In violation of the hosepipe ban, there are those who still believe that it is their right to use water as if it were not a valuable and limited resource. And even the Nicosia municipality has been witnessed watering roadside grass verges at midday.
I think that it's the water consumption patterns combined with maybe not enough resources to justify those patterns, which could be part of the problem. For example, agriculture uses 75% of the water on this island, and yet the reservoirs are empty. At this level, I would encourage a certain amount of foresight from the decision makers.
The Water Board, however, says serious measures have been introduced to prevent wastage and is seeking alternative ways to supply the island with enough water to carry it through the long-term and short-term drought.
The one immediate measure that it's been taken is to transport water from Greece to the island. The two desalination plants of the island, they're getting extended so they can produce more water.
But not everyone agrees that desalination will provide a long-term solution to Cyprus's water woes. Green MP George Perdigis says that rather than solving the problem, it could feasibly add to it.
Στην Κύπρο παράγουμε ενέργεια από τα υγρά καύσιμα, από το πετρέλαιο. Τα εργοστάσια αφαλάτωσης παίρνουν ενέργεια και πολύ μάλιστα από τα εργοστάσια παραγωγής ηλεκτρισμού. Άρα περισσότερη αφαλάτωση σημαίνει περισσότερη παραγωγή ηλεκτρικής ενέργειας, περισσότερη κατανάλωση πετρελαίου, περισσότερα ρήπους στην ατμόσφαιρα, περισσότερη καταστροφή του περιβάλλοντος, περισσότερη αύξηση της θερμοκρασίας, άρα περισσότερη έλλειψη νερού, άρα κάνουμε ένα φαύλο κύκλο.
We had droughts in the past in Cyprus, which were on and off. So probably they were thinking that, okay, the problem will go away next year or it will rain, so there won't be a need to act immediately. So there has been a little delay.
This golf course is watered using its own desalination plant. The others on the island, however, are all dependent on local water supplies. Perdigis is critical of the government's plans to promote golf tourism as a way of giving new life to a tourism industry that has seen visitor numbers dropping in recent years. He claims that the government has plans to increase the number of golf courses on the island to 14 over the coming years, a sign, he says, that the government is failing to understand the severity of the situation.
Εμείς το θεωρούμε βλακεία από τη μια να αφαλατώνουμε τη θάλασσα με τεράστιο περιβαλλοντικό και ενεργειακό κόστος και από την άλλη να προωθείται αυτή η μορφή ανάπτυξης που είναι πολύ σοβαρά υδροβόρα, δηλαδή χρησιμοποιείται για να γίνει αυτή η ανάπτυξη πάρα πολύ νερό.
With Cyprus now sweltering under the relentless summer sun, people are asking themselves what the future holds and whether the days when water could be used almost without a second thought will return.
This problem is obviously not limited to Cyprus. There is a global issue with climate change, and more specifically, the Eastern Mediterranean region is particularly at risk of desertification, and the arid climate only seems to be getting more arid as the years go by.
Πρέπει να σκεφτόμαστε παγκόσμια και να δούμε τοπικά. Αν ξεραθεί η Μεσόγειος, θα χάσει ολόκληρη η Ευρώπη ένα στολίδι, ένα περιβαλλοντικό και οικονομικό παράγοντα, πολύ σημαντικό.
Ελπίζουμε να βρέξει ο χειμώνα, να έχουμε νερό, να συνεχίσουμε τη δουλειά μας, να μπορούμε να καλλιεργήσουμε. Αν δεν βρέξει και έναν ουρία παρά του χρόνου, θα φυτέψουμε, θα μπορούμε να συνεχίσουμε τη δουλειά μας.
Whether or not it rains this winter, searching for new water sources has become a priority. But while the government comes up with sophisticated and often expensive methods, some are taking the matter into their own hands.